Sorry, I was kind of starting without welcoming everyone. So thank you for being with us, and thank you for putting this time on one side to, come together. Each of us bring something unique, something valuable, and if it wasn't for you, there wouldn't be this group. So and invite you to send a thank you to everybody else for being present here as well, so that we can create this time together. And the people, so we have, yes, obviously people in the East are getting fed up of getting up very early. We've still got Colleen from Canada, and the furthest east we go is Olga from Russia, and we don't go any further east than that. So, but that's okay. We still go all the way around the world, I'm sure. So what I thought would be nice to do this week would be to do another visioning of the new earth, but also just to, I don't know how you are finding it and how you are feeling, but just to share with you that this last week, I guess, if not perhaps a bit longer, the incredible, unbelievable division that is happening amongst people, amongst families, amongst friends, because of our choices of what our life is about, our choices to stay connected to the divine, our choices to live with absolute autonomy, total choice of autonomy, claiming our autonomy for our own health and how we live our lives. And the two sides, the various things that are happening are just creating, this is what I'm experiencing. Literally two worlds are presenting themselves, and heard about this idea that there would be two worlds. Heard of it as an idea for a long time, but now it's here. It's unbelievable, which is a strange thing, having heard about it for so long, but now it's here and experiencing it. It's bizarre. But yeah, just to share that with you in case it resonates with you and how you're experiencing, life for you. And I just thought, if you are feeling that, you might find it interesting, you might find it supportive to know that you're absolutely not on your own, and that I think it's quite common, and it can be painful, it can be sad, it can be create anger, bring up all sorts of emotions, all of which are valid. And it's a remarkable time, and it's an amazing time. Living it and being someone who is making the freedom choices. So this would never happen if there wasn't a number of us making the freedom choice. So, acknowledge the power of the choices that you're making, because it is those choices that are creating the new earth. And it might seem these are just little choices of personal autonomy, but actually they are the choices that are forming the new earth. So they're very significant. I thought this week that we divide up into our groups again. I think it's really nice to to get to know, to meet people a little bit more, and just to say, those of you who haven't got your video on, when we're actually in the groups, please put your video on, unless you're naked or there's some other reason why you can't, because it's just lovely to, yeah, it's just lovely to meet one another from around the world. And this time I'm going to discuss what is death going to be like on the new earth. Is it going to be something we avoid, afraid of, never talk about, pretend it doesn't happen, keep children away from it because it's so awful, and just put people in a corner in a hospital, hoping they'll do it, just do it quietly, etc. Or will it be different to that? Because that's what we do. That's what's general now. And it does sound comical, just to reel it off like that, but it's what we do. How would it be different? Okay, so there's nothing else for me to say, really. I've just got to do a bit of maths to decide how many groups. Okay, so I never know who anyone's going to be with. It's all done by the computer. It's not my choice that's being made. So look forward to who you're going to meet and to explore how is death going to be transformed. And then just to remind you to choose a spokesperson who can share the ideas of your group with everyone when we come back together in about 20 minutes. Give you plenty of time to explore. It brings up the question, what is death? How do we do it? Etc. So there's going to be 5 groups of 4 and 1 group smaller than that. So see you later.
Oh, this is my first time to join.
Ah, you're very welcome. Nice to have you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. From Toronto.
Yes.
Yes, you ended up in one of the groups a little bit late, but never mind. I'm glad you got there in the end. And Angel Marie, hello.
Hi, you remember me?
Go on, give me some reminders.
I went to 2 of your conferences in
in the south, in London.
Yeah, in London, right.
Yes.
Right. I didn't go to Glossonbury ones. It was right after you did Glossonbury, and we switched over to that children's. I guess it was. I forget that.
Yes, Ruby organized it. Yes.
Yeah.
Nice to see you. Welcome. So is that everybody? Everybody back? I think so. Okay. So yes, group 1. Spokesperson, please, and what your feelings are, what do you expect it to be like, the approach to death when in the 5th dimension. So who was the spokesperson for group 1, please?
It's me.
Okay, Eric, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Group 1. Basically, we will learn about it ourselves, and we will teach others. We can help, and also, I think we discussed that. We also will know more or less, when the time is come, and because we know what is there, it's unconditional love and Godhead, so there will be no fear. to pass, and also as everything is now and there, right, at the same time. So we know it's, when people pass, that spirit is still around us, you know. Yeah, so basically we know what's happening. We know what death is nothing to be afraid of, and therefore people will be around also the understanding, you know. They will not be panic crying a lot. There may be sadness somewhere, however, we will meet again. That's what I can say.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you. Who is the spokesperson for group 2, please?
That's me.
Okay.
Okay, so it seemed like we all agreed on one thing, that it would be a celebration versus something that had to do with sadness. Yeah, and that it would start off when children were very young, and everything would be explained to them. And so none of it would be a shock, or they would understand that it's an organic process and that it's something to be celebrated by the community. That's kind of the first part of it. And then also when you're passing more consciously. And so because you're doing that, there's also no pain and no suffering. That's non-existent. You're past that point of it. And then also you have an opportunity within that process to take care of anything earthly that needs to be taken care of, and full explanation and maybe a review of your own life. So all those things are resolved prior to. And then we kind of talked about what would happen after that person no longer had a form. And some of us talked about it, you know, kind of being dispersed back into the water, cremation, that there would be also that your body would just dissolve, the molecules would just dissolve and you would take your form with you. And then also we talked about the celebration during and afterwards. So would it be a good Irish drink up, a celebration? Would it be, you know, a Buddhist one, an Indian one that's very colorful? And so there were lots of ideas around that, but nothing scary. You're welcome.
Group 3, who is your spokesperson, please?
That's me.
Okay, Nikki.
Our group. Okay, it's about, yeah, what Eric and Colleen, we are very close to that concept. Our personalities will be aligned with our higher being. So we will be very conscious of when our time, when the soul decides to leave, we will know. So we will prepare ourselves, do all the forgiveness, whatever we have to do, then gather our families and our friends and explain to them that now I have to go, say goodbye to everyone, and meditate all together, pray, say goodbye, and without fear, without pain, and with no feeling of loss. We will be able to communicate with each other after death. Okay, some people do that anyway, but in the new earth, everyone will be able to communicate because the souls will still be there. So the communication will be the same. Death will be like a celebration. In the new earth, we will delete the word death and we will only use the word transition. After death, it will be, I mean, we see it as an expansion of ourselves in the universe, connected with everything at all times. That, you know, that don't know the word. We will be connected with everything and forever.
Mhm.
And Altera suggested also a way to after death. There is also a compost kind of. There is a way Altera described that you can die after your body. They found a new way to be like compost and put into earth back as where the body came from. No fear, no pain, no suffering, no feeling of loss, and generally a huge celebration for the transmission.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so group 4, who's the spokesperson?
That's me, Christine.
Oh, okay, thank you, Carleen.
Okay, so in our group, we had the view that it will be painless for the departed and those left behind. We'd have a different mentality towards death, valuing the soul as a connection to good things shared together, to know that death is not the end. There is no death in the new world. To live in multi-dimensions and to exist on separate dimensions also, and no death. No death. We are living in another dimension as opposed to being dead and embracing a different season. So that was our combined view about death.
Thank you, lovely, thank you very much. That's it sounds a very different experience, and that's nice to model that and to hold it in our consciousness, so that we're holding that possibility, we're creating that.
Yeah.
So thank you, all of you.
Thank you.
So if there's nothing you know, that really comes to me ready for next week, because we've kind of done alternate weeks, visioning and then alternating with me talking about something. It's just about something comes up, something's happened, some insight, and I share that with you, or something important to actually say. So next week, I don't know yet whether it's actually going to be something that I need to share or would like to share with you, or whether it's going to be another New Earth visioning. But nevertheless, it's after. So this time I'm going to ask you to prepare for the next subject, because the next subject is law and government.
Oh.
Okay, law and government, and we already have, as we have, you know, we can only vision something that we already have references for. So, for example, if you had no idea, no reference for any kind of life after death, then we wouldn't have been able to have this conversation at all. So we already know something. And I'm going to ask you, I'm going to put a couple of, one word in the chat. Well, I'll put two things in the chat. I'm going to invite you to investigate sociocracy and common law. Okay. And I'll try and remember how to spell sociocracy. That's probably a C. That looks about right. Okay, so these are, slightly set, they're not the same thing. So sociocracy is a model of governance which recognizes equally each person's value and contribution. There is no, it's very, at the moment, housing communities, businesses, communal living, all sorts of things like that are already run on the principles of sociocracy. And there are a number of very successful businesses, I think in Denmark and United States. And it is where everybody is equal contribution, not same. We're absolutely not the same, and we're not going to, somebody in the group is not going to share the same thing, but equal value. Everybody has equal value in what they know, what they have to offer, and the way that the laws of sociocracy, the modeling of sociocracy, always creates equal opportunity to share, to speak, to be heard, and have your ideas understood. Common law is, and it might be we have to separate these, I don't know. Common law is the only decent law that exists. Everything else, well, I won't, is abuse of power for control and profit. Your laws in your country are not laws. They're control systems by a corporation just to earn good money. That's why chief justices and everybody, you know, has a lot of money because that's how it's organized. Common law is right law, and it's growing. And I probably already mentioned to you that I am my birth, well, I haven't gone through the full legal process, but my birth is, and me as a me, as a human being, I am registered with the common law courts. So you might find that interesting. Okay, so some homework. I love this. And I hope you find it enlightening and interesting, and supportive that this new way of being already exists. There are a lot of new earth, fifth dimensional principles that we're already living. But it isn't the majority of people that are living them, but they're already here, which I think is really, really good news.